Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. We are continuing our reading of Sahih Bukhari. I have finished the big summary that was over 1,000 hadiths, and I want to go with the volume series as well now to make sure it's all in order. This is volume 1. We are in the chapter of Tayammum, and it is nice to have these hadiths repeated so that we can memorize them. Let us begin. Chapter 8. Tayammum with one light stroke on earth. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Narrated Al-Amash, Shaqiq said, while I was sitting with Abdullah and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the latter asked the former, if a person becomes Junub and does not find water for 1 month, can he perform Tayammum and offer his Salah prayer? He replied in the negative. Abu Musa said, what do you say about this verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah? And you find not water, then perform Tayammum with clean earth, and rub therewith your faces and hands. B56. Abdullah replied, if we allowed it, then they would probably perform Tayammum with clean earth, even if water were available but cold. I said, you then dislike to perform Tayammum because of this? He said, yes. Shaqiq added, Abu Musa said, haven't you heard the statement of Ammar to Umar? Ammar said, I was sent out by Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, for some job, and I became Junub and could not find water. So I rolled myself over the dust clean earth like an animal does. And when I told the Prophet, peace be upon him, of that, he said, like this would have been sufficient. The Prophet, peace be upon him, saying so, lightly stroked the earth with his hand once and blew it off, then passed his left hand over the back of his right hand, or his right hand over the back of his left hand, and then passed them over his face. So Abdullah said to Abu Musa, don't you know that Umar was not satisfied with Ammar's statement? Narrated Shaqiq, while I was with Abdullah and Abu Musa, the latter said to the former, haven't you heard the statement of Ammar to Umar? He said, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, sent you and I out. I became Junub and rolled myself in the dust, clean earth, for Tayammum. When we came to Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, I told him about it, and he said, this would have been sufficient, passing his hands over his face and the back of his hands only once. Chapter 9. Narrated Imran bin Hussein al-Huzay, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, saw a person sitting aloof and not offering Salah prayer with the people. He asked him, O so-and-so, what prevented you from offering the Salah with the people? He replied, O Allah's Messenger, I am Junub and there is no water. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, perform Tayammum with clean earth, and that will be sufficient for you. The Book of As-Salah, the Prayer, Book 8, Chapter 1. How As-Salah, the prayer, was prescribed on the night of Al-Isra, miraculous night journey of the Prophet, peace be upon him, to Jerusalem and then to the heavens. Ibn Abbas said, Abu Sufyan, when telling the narration of Heraclius, mentioned, the Prophet, peace be upon him, ordered us to offer our Salah prayers regularly, and to be true and chaste. Narrated Abu Dar, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, while I was at Mecca, the roof of my house was opened, and Gabriel descended. I opened my chest and washed it with Zamzam water. Then he brought out a golden tray full of wisdom and faith, and having poured its contents into my chest, he closed it. Then he took my hand and ascended with me to the nearest heaven. When I reached the nearest heaven, Jibril said to the gatekeeper of heaven, open the gate. gatekeeper asked, "Who is it?" Jibril answered, "Jibril." He asked, "Is there anyone with you?" Jibril replied, "Yes, Muhammad, peace be upon him, is with me." He asked, "Has he been called?" Jibril said, "Yes." So the gate was open, and we went over to the nearest heaven, and there we saw a man sitting with Aswida, a large number of people, on his right, and Aswida, a large number of people, on his left. When he looked towards his right, he laughed, and when he looked towards his left, he wept. Then he said, "Welcome, O pious Prophet and pious son." I asked Jibril, "Who is he?" He replied, "He is Adam, may Allah be pleased with him. And the people on his right and left are the souls of his offspring. Those on his right are the people of paradise, and those on his left are the people of hell." And when he looked towards his right, he laughed, and when he looked towards his left, he wept. He ascended with me till he reached to the second heaven, and he, Jibril, said to the gatekeeper, "Open the gate." The gatekeeper said to him the same as the gatekeeper of the first heaven had said, and he opened the gate. Anas said, Abu Dar added that the Prophet, peace be upon him, met Adam, Idris, Musa, Moses, Isa, Jesus, and Ibrahim, may Allah be pleased with them all. He, Abu Dar, did not mention on which heaven they were, but he mentioned that he, the Prophet, peace be upon him, met Adam on the nearest heaven, and Ibrahim on the sixth heaven. Anas said, when Jibril, along with the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed by Idris, the latter said, "Welcome, O pious Prophet and pious brother." The Prophet, peace be upon him, asked, "Who is he?" Jibril replied, "He is Idris." The Prophet, peace be upon him, added, "I passed by Musa, and he said, 'Welcome, O pious Prophet and pious brother.' I asked Jibril, 'Who is he?' Jibril replied, 'He is Musa.' Then I passed by Isa, and he said, 'Welcome, O pious brother and pious Prophet.' I asked, 'Who is he?' Jibril replied, 'He is Isa Jesus, may Allah be pleased with him.' Then I passed by Ibrahim, and he said, 'Welcome, O pious Prophet and pious son.' I asked Jibril, 'Who is he?' Jibril replied, 'He is Ibrahim, may Allah be pleased with him.' The Prophet, peace be upon him, added, then Jibril ascended with me to a place where I heard the creaking of the pens. Ibn Hazm and Anas bin Malik said, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, then Allah Azza wa Jal enjoined 50 Salah prayers on my followers. When I returned with this order of Allah, I passed by Musa, who asked me, 'What has Allah enjoined on your followers?' I replied, 'He has enjoined 50 Salah on them.' Musa said, 'Go back to your Lord and appeal for reduction, for your followers will not be able to bear it.' So I went back to Allah and requested forced reduction, and He reduced it to half. When I passed by Musa again and informed him about it, he said, 'Go back to your Lord, as your followers will not be able to bear it.' So I returned to Allah and requested for further reduction, and half of it was reduced. Again, I passed by Musa, and he said to me, 'Return to your Lord, for your followers will not be able to bear it.' So I returned to Allah, and He said, 'These are 5 Salah, and they are all equal to 50 in reward, for my word does not change.' I returned to Musa, and he told me to go back once again. I replied, 'Now I feel shy of asking my Lord again.' Then Jibril took me till we reached Sidra al-Muntaha, the lote tree of the utmost boundary, which was shrouded in colors indescribable. Then I was admitted into paradise, where I found small walls made of pearls, and its earth was of musk, a kind of perfume." Very cool hadith, huh? Very nice. 350. Narrated Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the mother of the believers. Allah enjoined as-salah, the prayer, when He enjoined it. It was 2 rak'ah only in every salah, both when in residence or during their journey. Then the salah offered during a journey remained the same. but the rak'ah of Salah for non-travelers were increased. Chapter 2. It is obligatory to wear clothes while offering as-Salah the prayers. Okay, very important. Look at that. Okay. In the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, take your adornment by wearing your clean clothes, covering completely the aura. It means while offering Salah prayer. A male must cover himself with clothes from A male must cover himself with clothes from umbilicus of his abdomen up to his knees, the belly button, and it is better that both his shoulders should be covered. And a female must cover all her body and feet, except face, and it is better that her both hands are also covered, while praying and going round the tawaf of the Kaaba. Okay, and offering Salah while wearing a single garment wrapped around the body, Salma bin al-Aqwa narrated, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said he should pin it, even if with a thorn. Offering Salah with the same garment in which one has had sexual intercourse is permissible, if one does not see anything dirty on it. Okay. The Prophet, peace be upon him, ordered that no one should go around the Kaaba, perform tawaf in a naked state. Okay, so before, I remember there was people who used to be around the Kaaba with nudity until they changed it. Now it's different. Narrated Attire, may Allah be pleased with her, we were ordered to bring out our menstruating women and veiled women in the religious gatherings and invocation of Muslims on the 2 Eid festivals. These menstruating women were to keep away from their musalla. A woman asked, O Allah's Messenger, what about the one who does not have a veil? He said, let her share the veil of her companion. Okay, so what about one who does not have a veil? Let her share the veil of her companion. 3rd chapter, to tie izar, dress worn below the waist, at one's back while offering Salah prayers. Sahil said, some of the people offered Salah prayer with the Prophet, peace be upon him, with their izar tied to their necks. Narrated Muhammad bin al-Munkadir. That's a cool name. Munkadir. Al-Mughira, Al-Mubarak, like Mughira bin Shuba, Al-Mubarak, Munkadir. I really like those names. They sound like so strong. Mughira, Munkadir. I like that. Once Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, offered Salah prayer with his izar tied to his back, while his clothes were lying beside him on a wooden peg. Somebody asked him, do you offer your Salah in a single izar? He replied, I did so to show it to the one with no sense like you. Had any one of us 2 garments in the lifetime of the Prophet, peace be upon him. I like when you get a little bit of comedy in there. With no sense like you. Narrated Muhammad bin al-Munkadir, I saw Jabir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, offering Salah prayer in a single garment. And he said that he had seen the Prophet, peace be upon him, offering Salah in a single garment. Okay, chapter 4. To offer as-Salah, the prayers, with a single garment wrapped around the body. Hani, may Allah be pleased with her, said that the Prophet, peace be upon him, wrapped his body with a single garment and crossed its ends over his shoulders. Okay. Narrated Umar bin Abi Salama, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, offered Salah prayer in one garment and crossed its ends. Narrated Umar bin Abi Salama, may Allah be pleased with him, I saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, offering Salah prayer in a single garment in the house of Salama, may Allah be pleased with her, and he had crossed its ends around his shoulders. Narrated Umar bin Abi Salama, may Allah be pleased with him. In the house of Salama, may Allah be pleased with her, I saw Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, offering Salah prayer, wrapped in a single garment around his body, with its ends crossed round his shoulders. Narrated Abu Murrah, the freed slave of Hani, may Allah be pleased with her. Hani, the daughter of Abi Talib, said, wait a minute, what? Abi Talib. I went to Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, in the year of the conquest of Mecca, and found him taking a bath, and his daughter Fatima was screening him. I greeted him. He asked, who is she? I replied, I am Hani bint Abi Talib. He said, welcome, O Hani. When he finished his bath, he stood up and prayed 8 rak'ah while wearing a single garment wrapped around his body, and when he finished, I said, O Allah's Messenger, my brother has told me that he will kill a person whom I gave shelter, and that person is so-and-so, the son of Hubayra. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, we shelter the person whom you have sheltered. Hani added, and that was before noon, duha. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, a person asked Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, about the offering of as-salah, the prayer, in a single garment. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, replied, has every one of you got 2 garments? That's a good point, right? This also highlights, how blessed we are to have multiple clothing. We sometimes can take that for granted, can't we? It really makes you think. So one wrapped around over the shoulders. You can picture it. Sometimes when I read the Hadiths, you can picture them in your head, which is quite helpful. Alright, excellent. We finished the book of Tayammum. We've entered into the book of the prayer and learning quite a lot. Hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. Hope to see you there.